Hey, what's up? All my true funk soldiers, club funketeers around the world. This is your host of Funk from the Front Seat, number 9 right here, come to you from the funk universe that I live in. Check this out, man. Smash that like button for Funk from the Front Seat, and please subscribe. We're on every Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. West Coast time. Don't forget, man, Funk from the Front Seat, 9 on the Grind TV. Smash that like button and please subscribe, man. We need it all to come together. Peace, love, and harmony, y'all.
You know, it's however you feel, but you just have to fit it between that space, that little space that you got, which is one. You know, one. You know, one. And then you would try to fit your different notes, but you felt in between it, like. You know, and that's the funk. You know, you know, and you can change that. You know, and that's the funk. And you can change that.
The funk is the power of the one. It's the power of the one. You know this funk has just begun. You can lean on it. Let your mind be free, Bob. I shall not won't die. But I needs the funk, baby. Benson, hit back.
What's up? All my true funk soldiers, club funketeers around the world. Yeah, man. Man, today, oh my goodness, we got like an amazing human being. You know, this gentleman, I met him through another funk sister and brother of mine, Cindy and David, and I want to send, you know, some shouts out of love and peace and harmony to them. But this brother and I, you know, Mr. Joe Peer, he's an actor, he's an activist. I consider him, you know, my friend now. He's on the West Coast. He got up early for us. Don't forget, you know, people that get up on the West Coast early for us, man, we got to really show them some love. So throughout the week, as we're running this show, you know, make sure you shout them out and hit them up. All the people that had birthdays, anniversaries, and any transitions, and, you know, my girl Dawn out there in Winston-Salem, I love you, boo. I hope you get better, feel better soon. I know you're going through some stuff, and I know David is going through some stuff, and we're just gonna send love out. Shout out to Tony Cam, the captain. Happy birthday, bro. I'll see you in 2 weeks when we go back on the road. So, my producer, Mr. Mark Lee, back there, keeping it funky, keeping it fast, always classy, never last, keeping it always on the blast for everybody out there, making sure that you guys have the correct technical information, because without him, I couldn't do any of this. And most of all you funky fans out there, from the East Coast to the West, from the North to the South, we're in our 6th year. So who would have thought during COVID 6 years ago, we came up with this plan and put this plan into motion. And here we are 6 years later, still on the grind. You can watch it, Not on the Grind TV, on YouTube. Smash the likes and all that good stuff. You know how social media works. Today is a special day because I'm really, really souped up. Anytime we have a guest on for the very, very first time, we get them to, tell us their story and share their journey. And, we introduce them to the funk audience out there that they may not know or may know. And already the brother said, we got mutual friends, so that's dope. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to bring my man on. Mark will be back later. But right now to the stage for the first time on Funk from the Front Seat, Mr. Joe Peer. We appreciate you, brother, and thank you for popping on. You see me yet? Oh, hold on. Mark, you back there?
You were breaking up just a little.
Hold on 1 second. He's on, he's in, he's on. Hold on.
All right.
I know what it is. Hey. Yeah, I got you. I figured, yes. My producer, Mr. Mark Lee, back there, normally does this, but I'm working it forward. I got it. How are you, sir?
Right. I'm good. Good morning from Seattle.
How you? You come from Seattle?
Yes.
Good morning from Seattle. Wow. Okay. That's what's up. I always ask this, what's the weather like over there?
The weather's been kind of nice, man. It was a little cloudy this morning, but it seems to be breaking up. I see a lot of blue sky, which is a good thing because very exciting happenings here in Ballard this weekend. It's the Ballard Seafood Festival. So everything seafood, man, will be out on the street. And it'll be a lot of food choices. There'll be a lot of music throughout the day. I'll probably hit the main stage tonight to catch the main act. I caught the main act last night, and it was an 80s cover band. A lot of fun. People just dancing, having a good time out, living life,
Yeah.
And I've also looked at some of your videos, man, and you make people very happy, man. Power of the funk.
Yeah, that's my big brother Bootsy, and it's like, sometimes I get away with playing stuff because I'm a Club Funketeer ambassador, vice president. So a lot of times he'll send stuff out, and that's like actually from his 1-2 years ago, I think. But there's certain things that I just like to utilize the message for the show. And Power of the One, we all know what that one is. You've been touched, been blessed heavily by the one. It's amazing. For my audience tuning in, and again, we're hanging out with Joe Peer. He's in Seattle, Washington, and nice enough to come on early with us. For my audience that's meeting you for the very first time, tell us a little bit about your background and what you do and that kind of thing.
All right. Well, what brought me onto the show is that I'm an actor and just here to share that story, how I made it to where I am today. I think it's kind of an interesting one. We're kind of the same age, and so I knew I wanted to be an actor since I was 8 years old. I just knew that's what I wanted to do. And I remember finding a little newspaper clipping in the San Diego Union. I grew up in San Diego. And I cut it out and I showed it to my mom. It said, be in television commercials, call such and such a number, right? So my mom agreed. We called and we made an appointment. We went down to this guy's office. I'm assuming he was an agent or something. What do I know? I'm 8 years old trying to get into the business, right? So so we go down, we meet the guy, and he says, well, there's a $25 registration fee before we can get started. So my mom said, well, we're going to have to talk to your dad before we spend that kind of money. So at the dinner table, I showed my dad the little newspaper clipping. My dad looked at it, put it on the table, then said to me, people like us do not become actors.
Wow.
and that's like your father saying, no, you don't have permission to do that, to do
Right,
this.
right.
So I never brought it up again. But the question always stayed with me. What do you mean, people like us? What does that mean,
Yeah,
people like us?
yeah,
Now, as a kid, I never saw Mexican Americans on TV. I never saw anybody speaking Spanglish on TV. I never saw anybody playing Mexican music at their barbecues on TV. So I wasn't sure, is that what he meant? Because people like us didn't exist on television at that time, so it was an unrealistic dream, or was it more based on a machismo thing? Because my father was a longshoreman. He was a real working class guy, and the arts is not how a man makes a living. So, and it also could have been, his idea of success. His idea of success, which is valid, is you find a good job, a good paying job, you
yeah,
get married, you buy a house, and you raise a family, and that's how he equated success. So
yeah.
anyway, getting back to the answer of no, you can't do this. I let it go, brother. I let it go for years, and I actually wanted to become a history teacher because of a very inspiring history teacher I had, who really gave me some focus in life. But I was also dabbling in music at the time. Well, this is where the activism came in. I was also part of because of the Black movement of the 60s, that gave us Chicanos permission to find our identity. And the Chicano movement evolved. Alongside with that was the farm workers movement, which I became very involved with. And so at that time, because of the farm workers movement, Luis Valdez had created Teatro Campesino, which was doing street theater out in the fields for the farm workers to raise awareness about the unions. So I had some friends who created a street theater group, a political theater group. And they said, and I was already in my 20s at this time, mind you. So
Right.
from 8 years old to 20, I never thought about being an actor. So when I'm with my friends who have this street theater group, they asked, hey, we need someone to play some music behind this scene. Would you do this for us? So I said, yeah, I'll do that. So I did a little bit of guitar here, whatever. Then they said, hey, we need someone to say this line. And then it turned into, hey, we need someone to play this small part. And that turned into, I really like this. I really do like this. And the passion was just ignited.
Yeah,
And
picture.
yeah, and I said, okay, I'm going to go for it. So I took an acting class at Long Beach City College. I graduated from high school in San Diego, moved to Long Beach, California, took an acting class at City College. My plan was to transfer to Long Beach State University because they had a good theater program. Well, some friends told me about a theater school in Los Angeles called the Inner City Cultural Center. And they said they're doing some really incredible work. You should go up there and check it out. So I went up to see a show, and we had this conversation before. I could not believe all the people of color that I saw on stage, because this theater company was run by a gentleman by the name of C. Bernard Jackson. And Jack was
Right.
doing multicultural and diverse casting before there was even a name for it. And then I started seeing all these classes they were offering, and just the energy of the center itself. And so I just nixed Long Beach State altogether and went to inner city, because I was getting more attention there than I was in traditional schools,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
and then I got really lucky at inner city, because its artistic director, C. Bernard Jackson, he saw, I don't know what it was, but he must have seen something in me, because he became my mentor for 3 years straight. And I worked in every one of his plays. I went on tour with the production of Iago, which was an adaptation of Shakespeare's Othello that was written by Jack. And everything that I learned about the theater, I learned from him. Everything
Wow.
I learned about the craft of acting, I learned from
Wow.
him. And
Yeah.
I carry those lessons with me today in every role that I play. So
Yeah.
if it wouldn't have been for inner city, I'm not sure I would have had the kind of luck or attention paid to me as an individual if I would have stayed in traditional university. This school was so specialized and so focused on creating theater for people of color that, man, it just became my home. And one of the most prominent folks that came out of there was a director by the name of George C. Wolfe, who is now Tony Award winning Broadway director and writer. So a lot of people came out of inner city. It was a really rich environment, and I just grew so much as an artist. And like I say, it really all those lessons are with me today. So I really love the craft of acting. It's something that I don't feel I ever have to stop doing. It's the one thing I've done, Zach, that I've never gotten bored with, even though the situation is always the same. You land a role, you break it down, you get on set. That's all the same, but each experience is different because it's a different character, it's a different crew, it's a different cast. Even though you do start to mingle and work with people.
I was reading.
Good.
Yeah, I was reading something from that bio, and everything that you said is so organically, like it was planned that way for you specifically. Whatever the universe's plan was for you to have the opportunity to go get an education in one place, and he was like, "Nah, let me get in the street because I know that's where the funk is." You know what I'm saying? And I respect that, man, because whatever artistic thing people do in life, there's always people telling them they can't or they shouldn't. I was curious though. That's why you saw me writing down. If you see me look over, I wrote a question. What did your dad say? I gotta know.
Yeah.
What did dad say?
My dad came to see one play that I did in San Diego, and he said, "It's a lot different than TV, isn't it?" I said, "Yeah." And he says, "You really have to pay attention, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah, it's right there happening right in front of you." And he was very impressed with it. But where the acceptance came in was I eventually became a member of the Screen Actors Guild. And my father was a really proud member of the International Longshoremen's Union. And so when I got that union card and I went to visit him and I showed him the card, he said, "Wow, you're really serious about this, aren't you?" And that card legitimized it for him. That card made it real. And after that, he would always ask me, "Have you worked on anything interesting? Met anybody interesting lately?" So yeah, towards the end of his life, once I got that union card, it became a viable occupation for him.
Yeah. You know what's cool? It's like when I hear these stories, and we're hanging out today with the amazing man. He's telling his journey, sharing it with us. We're going to show a few of his clips as well, Mr. Joe Peer. When I hear these stories of how your pride of being a Chicano, like you mentioned, and it never deterred you, it just gave you more fuel. People like yourself, I hold in high esteem because sometimes the movement is one. It doesn't have to be millions. So sometimes in this movement that happens, you're a movement of one, and then you open it up for others, and they have that pride. And I know, as an Afro-American man, I mean, doors are always closed, open, or whatever. But when people fight through things, I love to see that. And not that it was a fight that you did alone, but you're alone. You know what I'm saying? You have to go. You have to be on and give, on stage, giving that thing that you possess to everyone, and then receiving the accolades or not, but you still like, nah, this is what I'm gonna do. That's when people find that in life. I find that to be truly God's way of saying, everybody has that. You just gotta find that one thing, and that's the blessing part, man. Talking about it because you now are gonna inspire other people that may watch this show, man. That's dope. That's dope, man. I don't know. Mark is back there hanging out. I think he's busy, but he'll be back later. I do have a question for you. When you are on set and you're getting in that zone, that space, what are one of the ways that you motivate yourself to play this part, to play that part? You know what I mean? Like people may want to know, how do you get motivated? Because you're very like multiple. You can do multiple things, multiple parts. I've seen it, so we're going to show it. So how do you do that?
You know, there's a couple of things I do, but one of the things that I don't know if other actors do it, but music. I will find a piece of music that really supports the scene, the emotional intent of the scene, and the emotional peaks and valleys, and that kind of sets the tone for me. And then once I've set the tone, I can enter the scene with that tone, and I feel more focused. So
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
music will do it. Sometimes a little meditation or a phrase
yeah,
will do it.
yeah,
In my script, if you were to look at my script on set, in the margins are all sorts of little notes and arrows that point here and go there and say this is connected to this and this is connected to that. So you know, I like to enter a scene as focused and grounded as possible. So I use multiple tools, music and little mantras or meditations do it for me.
yeah. That's awesome. Because as a musician, I'm proud of that. Because without us, you know what I'm saying, we've
You're
been there
right.
since the beginning. We've been, and I
Right.
tell you, you know what's funny? Sometimes I'm watching an old crazy movie, The Nights and all this stuff, you know, back in the day, right? And I always sit there and say to myself, "Where am I?" And then sooner or later, you see the band over the corner. I'm like, "Yeah, that's me."
Right. Exactly, exactly. You know, I
Yeah,
was
it's kind
listening.
of cool.
Yeah, I was listening to Quincy Jones's album "Walking in Space,"
Yes,
and
yes.
you know, it his music is so cinematic. When I'm listening to his jazz, I'm listening to the tunes. I'm seeing shots in my head. I'm seeing a camera moving through a neighborhood or something because his music just creates these images for me, and so music is a very powerful thing for me.
Yeah,
Very powerful.
that's good to know because, um, yeah, because a lot of times, you know, people see your work complete, but they don't know the hard work to get to that one point. Like my daughter, my oldest daughter, she was in a movie, right? But she was actually on the one of them sitcom things, but she was a baby in the carriage. But then she was also in this movie, right? And I remember going to the set, and I had been on sets before, but I had remember going to the set, and she had to literally be there 8 hours for them to shoot 2 like seconds of film. The poor girl was like completely, she's on the diving board. She had to, you know what I'm saying? She was on the diving board, no less. And all the kids had to be, and they for whatever reason, the light, they couldn't just get it right. It was
Yeah.
all day, right? And the parents, we sit there in the bleachers. We're like, can you get the shot? It was like 95 degrees in a swimming pool area. You know what I'm saying? And so it's already hot. And I remember
Yeah.
thinking, acting is hard.
It's a, it's a hurry up and wait environment.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a hurry up and
yeah,
wait environment. Yeah, I'd like to get back to one thing you said about the hard work, and this is for all those aspiring artists out there, no matter what their discipline. I was talking with a friend at work the other day, and she said to me, "You live a really diverse life." And I said, "Yeah, I do. I was just about to go down to Southern California and do a play, and I was telling them about that. And I've had some commercials running here in Washington that everyone has been seeing." And she says to me, "You live a really diverse life." I said, "Yeah, you know, I feel very lucky." And she says, "Yeah, but I'm sure it's hard work." And I said, "You know, thank you for saying that because it doesn't just happen. It does take a lot of hard work. You're laying a foundation for the future. Every role you play, every gig you play, you're planting a seed for the future. Everything you do is planting a seed for the future."
yeah. It's funny, and see, I've always been a movie buff. Like I watch, I still have DVDs. I still got VCRs. You know what I'm saying? I sometimes I just want to see something the way I bought it. It takes me back to that time. But there's so many ways now to get access to everything, right? And I wanted to ask you, and maybe we can get this on the other side. We can think about it with all of the
Yeah,
social media access to everything, right? I know as an artist, I think Joe froze. Are you still
yeah.
there, bro? Oh, okay, you're
I'm
frozen.
frozen. Yeah.
Yeah, you can go out and come back. I'll be here.
Want me to go out and come back?
Yeah, go out and
Okay.
come back because it happens on Seattle stuff sometimes. Don't worry, I'll be right here. I won't even ask the question, but I know what it is. Mark, pop it. You there, Mark? Oh, I got you muted. Hold on. I muted you on my side. Okay, we got Joe back. We good.
All right, here we are.
Yeah. No worries. I was gonna ask you, right? Like, I know for social media aspects, are you guys able to keep track of your earnings like you're supposed to without, because I don't like to see bootlegs and stuff like that. But in the music game, we just write it off as a part of it. We ain't gonna never make what we're supposed to. How is it in your field?
It's changed everything in terms of everything. There's a lot of regional stuff going on. You still have national commercials, but a lot of national commercials these days are being done by big name stars, right? So what's available for someone like me, who's always been an under the radar actor, is more of the regional stuff. But the regional stuff is now a buyout. Even the national stuff has become a buyout. So since there are no more residual situations happening, there's nothing to track. It's hard to determine, is that lump sum equal to what you would have made if you had residuals? That's hard to figure out as well, because as you know, and you've already pointed out, with the social media and the internet, it's the wild, wild west, and anybody can do whatever they want within reason. Which brings me to one other thing. I had a conversation with a young lady about a few weeks ago, and she is a comedic stage actress and circus performer and a voiceover artist, or wants to be. Anyway, she came up with this little TikTok thing where she found these 3 strawberries. One was a good-looking strawberry, one was not so good-looking, and one was a terrible-looking strawberry. And she gave these 3 strawberries a different voice. And then she put this up on Instagram, right? Well, on Instagram, and I just learned this, apparently people can capture your sound and reuse it however they want. So anyway, this little 3 strawberry voice thing that she did has been reused over 1 million times by different people in their videos. And I was amazed that, she does not get a dime. So we're creating an environment where we're basically being taught to give it away.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. For finally, and we have other artists that see this, but finally we're hearing it from a different side point of view of an actor, actress / actor, actresses or whatever this young lady was, but just by her doing something of hers original, because we've opened the door so wide. For instance, right? I got to check the other day from Spotify, my videos, downloads, music, that. It was for $58. Now, I took the 58. I needed it, but it's just like, I know there are so many people, digging it. So it's like with this girl, I feel sorry that it's like, oh man, how we can't even help her because there's no laws, there's no, what do you call it, guardrails, and we're going to get into the political stuff on the second half. There's no guardrails or anything, bro. We're going down the road like that now.
She has no
I think
control.
Mark has a question about AI. Is that true, Mark? Yeah. It's crazy. Mark, you had something? Come in. Mr. Mark Lee, producer, phone from the front seat, Line on the Grind TV. Are you on mute? No, you're on mute. You're on mute. Unmute. Unmute. We can't hear you. Yeah, he's got to come back. I know what he's going to ask, though. I think it's something about AI, which we all got to live with now. What are your thoughts on that?
AI is a big problem. Big problem for us. Did you want to ask a question, Mark?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear me now?
Yeah, you good, bro.
Yeah, good.
Thank
Well,
you.
the other question that I was going to ask you is, I know that AI is definitely impacting the theater and the film world, and definitely I was just wondering your thoughts around the impact of AI, because I've heard a lot of people in the acting community say that they are concerned that eventually we might not see that many movies that are actually starring real people because they're going to star AI. Because apparently there's like some AI movies that are already out that don't even have actors. They got AI talent and everything like that. So I just wondering, how concerned are you as an actor about this notion of AI taking over the industry?
I'm really concerned. I'm very concerned about it. Not just as a performer, but it's going to decimate other areas of the business before it hits me. There's an AI actor who just booked a movie, and so let's see how that plays out. It all depends on how receptive the audience is going to be to that kind of image on the screen. Uh, Myself, I not happy about it. But let me get to what I was going to say. I think it's going to have an effect on other parts of the industry first, as it's already having an effect on graphic artists. There's a big movement here in Seattle amongst the film community where some film community folks are pushing back saying, look, if you're going to use AI on your movie posters, I'm not going to support your film. Because what's happening is you're knocking out a segment of the artistic community, the graphic designers.
Yep.
They're going to lose
Yep.
that work. I think
Yep.
we've already seen AI decimating the voiceover industry, particularly book narrators. We're going to see AI start to build set designs and costume designs. That's going to put designers out of work, and it all depends on how filmmakers embrace AI and use it. There is an active movement of filmmakers who are dedicated to not using AI. There's also movements happening right now to make it necessary for the filmmaker to label his film. This was AI produced, or no AI was used in this film, or aspects of this film where AI was used in this film. It's important to identify AI so that people can recognize it. Now, there's some things that AI can't do when it comes to a performance.
That's right. That's right.
If you look back at
Yep.
Viola Davis and
Mhm.
her performance in Fences, when she has that breakdown in front of Denzel Washington's character, AI can never produce that kind of honesty. It can mimic it, but it can never truly produce it. The movie Hamnet was really one of the most beautiful movies I had ever seen. One of the most beautifully acted movies I had ever seen. A friend and I were talking after the film, and I said AI could never make a movie like that because there was too much humanity in it. And I
Mm.
think this is where we really need to put in where the safeguards are. Use the technology to enhance your film if that's what's necessary to tell your story, but don't forget the humanity. Don't let it do everything.
Right.
So
Mark, I'd like to piggyback on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was beautifully said. But before I forget the thought, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I have to say this. What you just said is what we was talking about in the van coming back from our festival. And the only reason why I'm tying into music is because it's creeping into our stuff too a lot, right? And we use it as a tool. But getting back to what you do, I said to myself, well, one thing AI can never do is give you smell and sense of touch because it's 2-3 dimensional. Whereas you can look at certain characters in a movie, if they're grimy, you can smell it, depending upon the actor or actress, right? And Denzel, one of my favorites, of course. Robert De Niro, love him, and Angela Bassett. But when you look at our senses, 5 senses, and the other ones that we use, AI can't really tap into that. Like it can't, it'll cry, but you ain't feeling the tears.
Mm-mm.
You ain't tasting the salt. And live, what you do, brother, on stage, that's always going to be there. That's why, anybody that's doing any live thing, keep doing that because AI will never be able to do that. Never be able to do
No.
that. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah, I know one other question for you, Joe, because we have a very active community theater community here in North Carolina, where I'm based at, and where Zach is currently based and lives for several years and everything like that. I know there's an active community in Seattle, an active community even in New York City. So how important is community theater to you and everything like that? I know that's separate from AI, but I just am fascinated by community theater, and I have friends in the community theater space.
Yeah, well, it's where we live, right? If When I became an actor, I finally found my home. I finally found my people. I they want. It was I was amongst a group of people who wanted me to be there, who wanted me to be a part of things, and that's what we all want. We want to feel a part of something, and that's what community theater means to me. When you find a theater home and you can do play after play, and you work with the same directors and work with the same actors, that's where you really grow. It's one of the few things left that we do that's a communal involvement. Not only just being in the theater where you're building a show, but once you open the show, I mean, think about what happens. It truly is magic. Is that you create this environment, you create this illusion, and then people buy tickets to come and see you, and then they sit down and they say, "Okay, take me wherever you want to go." I was doing a production of The Odd Couple in California in the community theater. In a community theater that I had done several shows before, and
you had to be Oscar. You were Oscar.
I was Oscar, yeah. And so
I know you Oscar.
So I each night before the show, about 10 minutes before they would call places, I found this little corner behind the set, behind these flats, and I would just go sit there and do a little meditation for about 10 minutes. Anyway, the director noticed me there each night. So one night he came over and we just started chatting. And he said to me, "What is it about the theater that keeps you coming back?" And I said, "I love the magic of it." And he says, "What do you mean?" I says, "Look, check it out. Look where we are. We're backstage. We're behind this piece of wood. All it is a piece of plywood with some stands holding it up and some sandbags making sure it doesn't tip over. But on the other side is the New York apartment. And an audience is going to come in and they're going to see that apartment and they're going to believe they're in a New York apartment." And that to me is magic. It's pure magic.
Hey,
That's why I love the theater.
Man,
hey, Zach, can I ask one other follow-up question?
So cool because hold on one second. You can stay on, but I just wanted to tell him thank you for giving us and taking us on this journey, because I am on the edge of my seat here. That's what I'm twitchy anyway. You'll see if you do more interviews with me, which you will. You'll be like, "Why does he move around a lot?" I'm twitchy. I was born that way, right? Mark can tell you, I can't. But you're taking me on this journey, and it's so cathartic because of my childhood, and we'll talk about that offline. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead, Mark.
No, my follow-up question is that one of the things that I love, one of the things I love about community theater and everything like that is, can you hear me, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things I love about community theater and all along those lines is the fact that community theater can actually let you explore things that are from the political and social justice front. And I know one of the things that Zach has told me is that you're also a social activist. I was wondering, how important is theater to you in terms of addressing social issues? Because one of the things I love about community theater is that they will tackle things that a lot of other people are afraid to tackle, including some of the mainstream television and films and all along those lines. So I was just wondering your thoughts around that, because to me, that's one of the beauties of community theater, is that you're able to tackle on issues that are important to the community, whether that's around homelessness, whether that's around things to do in our community like hunger and things like that. But there's all these things that you can actually tackle, even some of the things going on in our LGBTQ IAA communities and everything like that. So I just wonder, how important is using theater as a tool for social activism to you?
It's extremely important, and it's probably one of the lines of defense, pure lines of defense that we still have. My whole theater background was based on activist theater and being at the Inner City Cultural Center and pushing the boundaries of theater that they were doing there. And also, one of the other lessons that C. Bernard Jackson taught me, he said, if we're going to spend this much time working on something, let's have something to say. You know, there's nothing wrong with entertainment. There's nothing wrong with popcorn movies. There's nothing wrong with, fluff. That's fine. We all need escapism. But the theater, I believe that it's a responsibility of artists to push our society forward. And we push our society forward by holding up a mirror to our society, showing it the bumps, the bruises, and the light as well. But that is, I believe, that is my role as an artist, is to teach, enlighten, and move things forward. And if I can do that through activism, I'll definitely use theater, music, whatever, to spread that message.
Yeah.
That's so like spiritually grounded, and that's why, your success is going to continue to be what it is, what it always was, and what it will be, to help other people. Because being spiritually grounded like that in this day and age, and still being able to give like you give and spend time on shows like mine, that's special. We cherish that. I want to show some of your videos, but first I'm gonna do a few shorts from people I got to shout out, P-Funk Radio. So y'all hang tight. We're hanging with, our funk family now, Mr. Joe Peer, actor, activist, writer, director, and all that good stuff. Spreading peace, love, and harmony. My producer, Mr. Mark Lee. So y'all hang tough. We're just going to chill for a hot second and acknowledge P-Funk Radio, JTRP, Gabe Gonzalez, Robin Circler P, Larry Funkster Jones, and also anybody else that's on P-Funk Radio, Philly Phil, get on Funk Buzz, Kenny Green. All you guys that play our music, we dig you. Thank you so much. Bootsy and Patty Collins, of course. I know we got something coming up with the Club Funketeers, so, I'll be getting in touch with you real soon. Patty, I'm off for a couple of weeks. Although I go back out next week, but then I'll be back. HJ Entertainment, Tony Cameron, the Funk All-Stars, Napier Funk Army 2.0, Oak City Music Collective, and also Incredible Talent. Thank you. Afterglow 92416, Q&A Entertainment. Thank you. Brooke Clagett, thank you. Patricia Dioria, Curtis Wilcox, and George DeFuncovici, thank you for always doing the beautiful artwork and always helping out Funk from the front seat. Dr. Brookenstein, hope you're feeling better. Thank you so much for taking care of the websites and all that good stuff. DJ Cocolino, DJ Elizabetta, and also, DJ Monica in Switzerland, thank you for running our music. It's so dope, and we appreciate you, how you be housing it, and David Webb, of course, thank you for keeping us in the Funk Hall of Fame in Dayton, Ohio. Brand new building. You guys got to check that out, because I'm going to make a trek up there at the end of August and bring some nappy head gear up there, to hang out with all the greats, which is like incredible honor. And then Mark Lee, my producer, and also today our special guest, Joe Peer. So we're going to show something, one of your clips, if that's okay with you, sir.
Please, yes.
Oh, y'all hear me?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, please.
You good? You good? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please, yeah.
Yeah. Hold on one second. This one is about 2 minutes long. Now, actually, I'm going to show the one that's a minute long first. So you guys check this out. You're going to love this. Boom. Here he is.
We're wired to handle life's changes, big and small. Requires us to adapt, to adjust. But together,
it's time for everyone's least favorite game show. Is that your dentist? Or is someone trying to convince you your nephew's in a foreign prison? You won't know the answer unless you answer.
It's not your typical retirement. So my SunTrust advisor checks in with us regularly to make sure we're on the right path.
My air conditioning and heating costs were through the roof. Literally, air was leaking right through my roof. Now my whole house is being sealed up and insulated. I got back more than $1,000 from my utility company.
Ah, the incentives, the savings.
Yo, I love the bowling one. I saw that last night. You were bowling. I'm like, no, that's so dope.
That one made me.
Actor. I'm already laughing because just all your little things.
Yeah, that Nintendo one made me a real hero
That
amongst
was
my
great.
grandson.
Now,
Yeah.
I was laughing at the shit you answer, but also laughing at the one that had to deal with you
Yo,
running the
it's
air
funny.
conditioning.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, insulation never looked so appealing, did it?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Yeah.
Now, just for my audience, to know, I'm sorry. Did you write or direct any of those?
No. I was hired for each one of those to play a role. Yeah.
You hear me? No.
Yeah. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. Yeah. No, I did not
Okay.
write or direct any of those. No.
Yeah, we got you. I just want to make sure. I know we're on. Okay, cool. And I know sometimes West Coast we get this slight delay, especially up in Seattle. But Sir Knows we call him will never stop this funk. We're going to show this next one, right? This is about 2 minutes. My audience is going to love this. We're hanging out with actor, activist, writer, producer, comedian, and all around good human being, man, Mr. Joe Peer. This is just the first of many times. He's going to be a regular now. I'm already inviting you back into the pool because this is great. This is great.
George, is that you here now? Why? No time for that. What are you doing here?
Hey, are you okay?
Yeah. Just out of breath from my walk. What are you working on?
Where's Grandma?
Her dementia got pretty bad last year, so I had to put her in a place that could help. We can visit if you like. I want to make things right. If I can.
I can manage on my own.
I know you can. You shouldn't have to. I'm really sorry you had to.
Leave that guy alone and just go do your fucking job, huh?
I'm not doing my fucking job, motherfucker. I'm fucking leaving. You fucked her back there, didn't you? Fucking
Yeah, that's right. I fucked your fucking girlfriend. So what are you gonna do about it, puto?
It's okay. It's okay. I want this. I want this more than anything.
Thanks for stopping by.
Hey, you take care now.
Bravo. Bravo. That one dropped the T. That's personal. I relate to that last one with the daughter, granddaughter. That's you can I gotta say it like this sometimes. New York, I'm from New York, you can act your fucking ass off. I'm gonna give you like my version. I'm gonna give you my version of an Academy Award. Okay, right here on this show, I'm giving you the Academy Award right here to Mr. Joe Peer, best character actor I've ever had on my podcast.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
Man. That's dope. Mark, your thoughts?
No, he was a great actor. I was impressed. I've been playing
speechless?
all those great roles and everything like that. So he was playing some very powerful roles and everything like along those lines. I did have a question for you, Joe. Have you ever thought about going on
Make
the
it
other
short.
side?
Make it short.
It's very short. Have you ever thought about going on the other side of the camera? Because
Sure.
I know a lot of actors that would love to be directors or filmmakers themselves. So have you ever thought about going on the other side of the camera as well?
I guess I have. Yeah, I have. But it's something I don't think I have the experience to do. It's so much responsibility, have so much to think about. I really do love directing theater, however. whenever I get a chance to do that, I always jump at it. No, I enjoy being on set. I enjoy just watching. I love watching the director. Can I share a quick story?
Yes.
Sure. We got about 15 minutes, but go ahead. You, as long as you want to stay, we good. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you something at the end, but go ahead.
Yeah, when I was, it's just about directors and learning and being on set. When I was in my 30s, late 20s, early 30s, I was living in San Francisco. And I started doing a lot of background work because I wanted to learn how films work. I wanted to learn how a film set works, what the roles were, what the actors do. I just wanted to learn the mechanics of a film set. Well, I got hired to do background on a movie called Peggy Sue Got Married, which was directed by Francis Ford Coppola, who directed The Godfather, which I was a huge fan of. So I was supposed to work for 2 days as an extra on background on Peggy Sue Got Married. My second day there, the on-set casting director came up to me and said, "We need someone to do this little featured bit pushing a cake down an aisle. You want to do it?" I said, "Yeah, I'd love to do it." And I said, "When are they going to get to that scene?" She said, "Oh, maybe tomorrow, the next day, but go to wardrobe." So I go to wardrobe. They put me in this waiter's tuxedo. They did not get to that scene for 8 days, guys, for 8 days. So for 8 days, I planted myself behind Coppola and I just watched him make his movie. And because I was in wardrobe, no one ever asked me to leave. And it was the best film class you could ever ask for. Man, I pinch myself to this day because of how lucky I was to experience.
I remember that movie too. Peggy Sue Got Married. I remember that.
Yeah, when Kathleen Turner gets chosen the homecoming queen, this waiter guy brings this cake down an aisle, and that's me pushing the cake. But man, what a film!
I got to go back and watch it now.
Yeah, what a film!
I hate to pivot, but and that's amazing. I hate to pivot, but I want to make sure I get you out of here on time. I did have one kind of social aspect of this conversation I wanted to ask you about. But first, I wanted to just let my audience know, look on the bottom of the screen, you can follow this brother, Joe Peer. He's an amazing human being. Follow his website, go on, check it out, and follow some of the films that he's done and some of the things he's doing now. He's spreading peace, love, and harmony through his gift. And he was nice enough to share his gift today with us, kind enough to come on with myself and Mark and share it with you guys. And don't forget, smash that like button. Please subscribe. You never know who we're going to have, what you're going to see on Funk from the Front Seat. And you're going to be back again. So I'll just start this conversation because we all know that our situation in this country is dire. We cover it and mask it by the things we do in the arts. We give them that to relieve some of the tension and pressure. But do you think or feel that we can kind of finally put the racial tension aside? Because I know artistically you're doing it, musically we're doing it, a lot of us are doing it, but do you feel it's really taking hold on the people it needs to? You know what I mean?
Oh boy, such a big question right now. It reminds me of a conversation I had on July 4th at a barbecue, July 4th barbecue. And the discussion turned to Democrats and messaging. What was the messaging that didn't work last time? And what's preventing the message from getting out right now? And one of the things we came up with is that someone said, well, the press has to hold, let's just say Trump, accountable. When he says something we know is a lie, call him on it. And, we talked about that for a little bit. And there's two reasons why it won't happen. The main reason is corporate media. They're protecting their dollars and their investments. Two, the journalists have to be careful in a sense, because if they push too hard, they'll get eliminated from the press pool altogether and then lose all access. So where should the messaging come for our communities? It should, for all communities, let's say, this messaging now has to come from the politicians. When Trump calls all of us communists because we're progressive thinkers, if the media is not going to say, well, do you have any proof of that? The Democratic politicians, when they go on these news programs, they need to say, we are not communist. No matter how many times
that's ridiculous.
we are not communist. This is what social democrat really means. This is the definition of communism. This is the definition of oligarchy. Push back on, let the Democratic candidates should be pushing back on the media. They should take up the mantle because the media is not going to do it. So what's going to bring our community together to solve all this is going to be messaging. It's I don't know. It's so hard to figure out what went wrong last time.
Yeah. And thank you for answering that so eloquently.
Yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts quick, if you don't mind.
And I agree because again, I tried to gear my last two songs I put out towards, one is United We Stand and one is Grid Go Down, to try to give like some forewarning to people, like, you can see this coming. Like, I'm old enough to know. I'm 68. Grew up in New York. I lived in Virginia for 10 years. Now I lived here for 10 years. So I've lived in other states. I grew up in New York. I'm old enough to know the cycle when I see it. The power of the one has given me like longevity, So when I see this, I'm like, we're in a place now that people like that are like, hey, you do you, you do you. It even makes us uncomfortable. I'm a heterosexual male. I got 2 daughters. I have a son in Georgia. My kids are fine. My 2 daughters are biracial. I was married to a Scottish, white woman. So all of that other stuff in New York, we like, nah, leave all that stuff alone, right? Mm-hmm. And then around the country now, today, I've been to marches. I've been to protests. I see so many young people of all races, creeds, colors, transgenders, whatever, out here fighting this good fight. And I'm behind them 100%. That's where I stand when you ask me. I'm behind them 100%. And the way I have to do it is through music. So I wrote a song called United We Stand. I wrote a song called Grid Go Down. What you going to do when the grid... So I'm trying spiritual purpose. I have a song called Revolution. So I'm trying to give it the way any musical artist would. And I feel as an empathic spirit, I connected with you on many levels because we've talked several times. My audience don't even know way before this, right? I feel like you do. Keep going, keep encouraging, planting seeds to young people. I recently applied for a grant to teach funk school down here, right? It's not much, but I'm going to try. So I'm, hope give me good positive for that. I just got the email. They're checking it out, this, that, and the third. And it was actually through someone that Mark Lee knew, and, so I'm trying to do these little things, plant a seed here, there, and then maybe. So I don't know, but it's weird, man, right now, bro.
Oh, it really is. And you brought up something really important, Zach. You brought up something really important is that, it can feel overwhelming and we can feel isolated and we are kind of forced into our little isolated bubbles. But I'm reminded of 2 things, and I'm going to paraphrase here, but I think it was Alice Walker who said, if we each bring our little stone of activism and add it to the pile, we'll eventually have a mountain. And it was Lily Tomlin who a long time ago said this: we're all alone in this together. Really. This is why I meet with my protest group every Saturday here in Ballard, the Ballard Defenders of Democracy. Every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. we meet at the corner here, and we have our signs. And that's my release. That's my not being alone. It's these people who keep me positive. It's these people who keep me optimistic. And when people are driving by and they're giving us thumbs up and honking their horns, we're giving them permission to express themselves as well.
Yeah, I always honk when I see it because I just feel like, first of all, God bless you for even doing it. It's hot. You know what I'm saying? And again, you're voicing our freedoms, our right. It's our right. We should not be forced to do things that we feel as a group are detrimental to our own sanity and our own health. We have kids growing up in this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You can grandkids, whatever, cousins, aunts, uncles, sons, daughters. You know, they should not be dealing with this bullshit. I'm gonna just say it like it is. It's facts. They should not have to be dealing with this. You know, it drives me nuts.
Yeah. You know, coming from a Mexican American background, you know, this whole ICE thing has my family's just terrified. And we're talking American citizens. I'll share a story with you real quickly. I have a niece in Pasadena. She lives close enough to her work where she walks. Well, in between her home and her workplace is the bus stop where a young Mexican national was picked up by ICE. And so now she's afraid to walk to work. She drives to work. She's afraid to walk to work because she's brown, but she's an American citizen, brother. She shouldn't have to feel that way. Even if she wasn't an American citizen, she shouldn't have to feel that way. I agree. You know, so yeah, well, you know, we have a government right now that's terrorizing our communities. And hey, November, man, November, get out and vote, everybody. November.
Yeah. And you know, that's right. I was going to say that. And see, the dark has to show up so the light can even shine brighter. But people that are now, wherever they are with this thing, there's no gray area anymore. I don't care who you are. You know, I may get kicked off the air tomorrow. I don't really care. Yeah. You know what he can do to me? I'm 68. What are you going to do? You know, but again, we need to speak up. We need to fight. We have to fight. We have to fight. The show I gave out American flags at my show on 4th of July. Yeah, because I'm a patriot. I have a right to give out a flag. And that's what we did at our show. Yep. And I'm not a communist.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Mark, keep it short. We got to get him out of here because I know you scratching at the glass back there. Short.
Two very short questions. One you kind of alluded to, which is how important is it for people of
one.
Two. The second one's very short.
I got time.
How important is it for people of their Latin background to represent themselves on
Okay, as long as you got time.
Okay, could you repeat the question one more time? I'm sorry.
Yeah, how important is it for people that are actors of Latin background to represent themselves and find representation in their acting community?
Oh, you know, representation is everything, right? Representation is everything. I mean, that's we have to give young ones have to have someone to look up to. Right. Young ones need someone who they can identify with and say to themselves, well, man, if they could do it, I can do it. Right. You know, representation is everything. And so I think it's important across all our communities. Seeing people in roles that we don't normally see people in, right? Why do we never see any Latino airline pilots? Right. You know, we need people. We need to see Latino airline pilots because there are Latino airline pilots. You know, representation is everything.
Yeah, I was having that conversation with you.
And there's nothing that any of us, people of color, there's nothing that any of us are not doing already. We're already in all aspects of society.
Right.
I was having that conversation with a coworker of mine because they were
talking
about.
It's sad because Martin Luther King. Hold up, Mark.
Go ahead.
Martin Luther King said to the lady that plays Uhura on Star Trek. Right. After the second season or whatever, she wanted to leave. You know the story. Maybe you could share the story of what he told her.
Well, you probably know the same thing you do. The story goes from what I've read is she wanted to leave the show, but Dr. King convinced her to stay because he felt that her representing Black women on the show was more important than her dissatisfaction with the character or the job. That she needed to take on she had a bigger responsibility to take on, and she did it. And the rest is history.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, and you know, as a kid like me, growing up in New York, we didn't see many black people on TV. You know,
No,
it,
exactly,
it was it was
exactly.
it was strange because I'm walking around. I'm like, there's millions of black people, but I only see like a couple on TV. Like, how is this possible? You know,
Right.
but
Yeah.
you live and you learn. My dad taught me and my sister well. He taught
Exactly
us.
that
You know,
point.
he showed us.
That's why I asked the question, because we were talking at one of my coworkers about the need for having more representation with fantasy, because there's not a lot of black fantasy characters. We see blacks in sci-fi, but not a lot in the fantasy world. So there was a talk about the need for more authors and even participation in the fantasy category and all along those lines. So that was a conversation I was having with a coworker. Now, my other very light question, because I used to watch soap operas back in the day. I used to watch Dynasty. I used to watch Dallas. I used to watch a number of them. And I saw that you had a small role on one of those soap operas. So I wanted to know, what was it like working on Falcon's Crest? Because I'm not gonna lie, I actually watched some of those shows back in the day and everything like that, growing up in the 80s and going to college in the 80s and everything like that. So what was it like working on Falcon's Crest?
Oh man, I was so young, man. That's way back. Well, here's the story about Falcon Crest. Falcon Crest was the job that got me my union card. That was the job that finally put me over the top in points so that I could qualify to join the union. It was it was a lot of fun because it was one of my first professional jobs. You know, it's one of my first jobs where I was actually hired to say something. I wasn't in the background, and I was familiar with the show. But it was really exciting time for me. You know, I was living in San Francisco. That show was shot in the Napa Valley. Got a call from the agent saying, you know, you have an audition, and you know, go up to Napa and go see the people at Falcon Crest. So oh, I know what it was. I actually went to audition for a different role. I went up and I auditioned, and as I was leaving, the casting director said, "Ah, before you go, we're not going to use you in this episode, but we liked what you did, so we'll be in touch." I said, "Okay, great, that's fine. You know, thank you for the opportunity." Never gave it a second thought. Well, 2 days later, it happened to be a Wednesday. My agent calls and says, "You're booked to work on Falcon Crest." I said, "I have an audition." She says, "No, you have the job." I said, "But they're shooting that scene today. I auditioned for that the other day. Aren't they shooting that today?" She said, "No, it's something totally different. They remembered you from the last one and they're giving you this part." So I didn't even have to audition for the second role. And, you know, I got on set. I got to meet Robert Foxworth, and it was a great time. It was really, it was a real coup for me. And it was a real proud moment because I felt like I had finally become a professional actor.
Wow, that's
I felt
Mark. Real quick, I'm going to tease you. Yeah, and I got something for you too, Joe. But hold up, but Mark, I have to tease you because you said in the '80s you watched all those shows, right? Now, Joe, I'm gonna show you the contrast between the good Mark Angel and the devil me. In the '80s, I got hired from 1980 to 1990, so I watched any of that. I watched the reruns. So good for you, Mark.
Nah.
Kudos, because you was definitely a good boy. In the '80s, oh my God, I don't even remember. I don't remember that.
You don't
I
remember
just
those
woke
shows.
up and it was the '90s.
You don't remember those shows.
I was in my 20s. Yo, I was in my 20s, bro. Take me back. Please, can I go back? But on the real, Joe, for real though, right? I did watch a lot of those shows, right? And back then, I heard Gene Hackman say this. Maybe you can elaborate. He said once he'd be telling people, listen, from the distance shots, don't worry about my face. Don't worry about what I'm doing up here. Just get the shot. He said, what matters is the close-ups. So how do you feel about that?
Well, you know, close-ups, when you're first involved with them, they can be pretty intimidating because, you know, the camera's right there, right? And you got to pretend it's not there. But once you do it after a while, you know, you kind of get used to it. But then there's another thing that happens for me as a performer, and Mark, it probably happens for your friends in the theater as well, and maybe even yourself, is that I show up so prepared that once I'm locked into the scene and the director yells action, everything else disappears the crew is not there, the camera's not there. The only thing that's in my focus is the other actor and the lines that I have to say to them, because you're so in the moment. So that all kind of disappears. And I before each take, I do make myself aware of where the camera is, so that I make sure I'm in focus and I'm in the right sideline. But once I've established that and the lines start, everything disappears. I don't even see it anymore. I'm just in that moment, whatever that character is living at that time.
Yeah, yeah. I love to see close-ups of actors when they change their facial expressions for certain lines. And I think to myself, wow, they must have worked on that 1,000 times just to get that right. You know what I'm saying? That right little twinkle or that expression, or like when you move your head a certain way. Like, who's the actor? He always talks like this. He was an NYPD. What's the guy's name? With the red hair, David something.
Yeah, right.
Remember him?
Right.
What was his name? Anyway, he developed every line he did. He had his head like this, and I was like, man, what a gimmick!
Yeah. Well, if I could get back to theater, Mark, for a little bit, one of the main difference between acting for theater and acting on camera, in the theater, you act it because you're playing to the entire house. You're trying to project to the last row in the theater, right? In film, you think it because the camera is right there, and the camera will pick up the slightest motion. You don't even have to work at it. If you just think it, your emotions will come through. The differences between the two, theater for me is like a trapeze artist without a net. It's that live theater, that live experience, and you get to play the through line from the beginning of the play to the end of the play. And it's like no other environment in the world. And I really do miss it. What I do like about film is that I like the technical aspects of it. I see it as a dance. I see it as a dance between actor, technology, lights, and camera, especially if you're moving. Actors are moving, cameras are moving. It's like a little choreographed ballet, and I love being a part of that machine, that wheel in the machine, that one wheel in that machine that makes it all work, or that in film, you can really work on a scene. Somebody says something that just triggers something in you that makes you feel something different, and the director says, hey, I like that direction, let's explore, let's work on that for a little while, explore that direction, and you can really fine tune and just get things really, really, really nice. They're both really gratifying for me.
Yeah.
But I do
Who are some of your actors and actresses? Who were some of your actors and actresses that you watched pre-1955? Because I like to watch a lot of old movies simply because I love like the scenery of it. Being a musician, I'm always thinking theatrics, and I was always in plays and stuff. And I love looking at like the sets, right? Who were some of your go-tos back then? And I know it was Jack because we didn't really see our people doing it, but I used to always love to see like Betty Davis when she was younger, people like that, you know what I mean? Who were some of your people that you dug back then?
Well, it's just another story, about how we evolve. Even as a kid, I was very aware of movies. I was very aware of the technical side of movies. Even though I was watching a movie, I was very well aware that outside of that rectangle was a bunch of lights and wires and people doing all kinds of different jobs, But what really, here's the story. I told you my father was a longshoreman. He worked on the waterfront. Mm-hmm. Well, one afternoon, and this is before I found the newspaper article about being in television commercials. Anyway, my father decided he was going to take us all to the drive-in one night. So we go to the drive-in and we go see the movie On the Waterfront with Marlon Brando. So first of all, here's a movie about a world I know about because my father was a longshoreman. I had been to the waterfront. I knew what it smelled like. I knew what it looked like. I knew what it was like to be around the guys who worked there. And I said to myself, wow, I could be in a movie like that. because I finally saw a movie about a world I knew something about. But then Marlon Brando's performance just mesmerized me. Just the naturalness, just the realness, just it made me want to be an actor. So that was my first influence. But growing up as a kid, all of the movie stars of the time, who made movies that I really liked. I like the fantasy movies like Journey to the Center of the Earth, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, anything science fiction,
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
whatever people were
Yeah.
putting out, I was eating it up.
Yeah.
James Bond movies. I was first in line for any James Bond movie when I was a kid.
Oh man. Same.
But in terms of
Same.
the
I used to love. Remember. Oh no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying one other thing. And every so often you'd run into an actor who was like you. For example, Anthony Quinn in the movie Viva Zapata. Anthony Quinn is from Mexico, and he played a Mexican in that movie. And I said, "Wow, he's Mexican. I could be him." That kind of thing. So I was always looking for some sort of validation, sort of validation that would give me permission to be an actor.
Yeah, it's funny because my older nieces, my older nieces used to always take me and nephews to movies, and I remember the first time I saw Sidney Poitier in the movie about like down south or something. He said they call me Mr. Tibbs, right? I was like, oh my god, they let him be like the lead guy.
Yeah.
And so, again, I'm about your age, whatever. I couldn't believe it, and it gave the Black community a sense of pride. And no matter to this day, if you ask someone my age who was one of theirs, they'd be like, oh no, Sidney. I'm saying Sidney Poitier. And of course, Harry Belafonte and Lena Horne, they had kind of gotten through, James Earl Jones as well, when he did The Great White Hope. I remember I didn't see it, but I heard my mother talk about it.
Oh, you've never seen the movie? You've never seen The Great White Hope? Oh man, put it at the top of your list.
I've never seen it. I heard people talk about it.
That's
I gotta watch it because it scares me. I love James Earl Jones. And I'm not talking to Star Wars. I'm talking the other guy.
I'm glad you brought those actors up. I grew up in a very mixed neighborhood. It was working class Blacks, Mexicans, whites, Filipinos, Asians, and I remember Sidney Poitier in Lilies of the Field and The Asphalt Jungle, and I said, "Wow, who is that guy? He's got such dignity." And he was just such a pleasure to watch. And then in The Heat of the Night, where he has that scene where he slaps the rich white man, whoa, man, that just changed movies forever. And that was an incredible moment.
Yeah, I just watched Lilies of the Field last month. I had to go back. I couldn't believe it. I had to, because you see stuff on Turner Classics. I was like, all right, let me watch it. And I was like, oh, Lilies of the Field, just. Hey man, that stuff. Oh my god!
And then coming to dinner.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. Fantasy in your line of business. That's why I can understand why you say I'm not going to stop doing this. Why would you? Why would you? It's like, oh,
no matter how old you are. There'll always be a role for you. They kind of diminish as you get older, but there'll be a role for you. It just takes time to come.
Yeah. We've had a blast today. We're going to bring you back. When can you come back with us? When can you come back?
Hey, you let me know when you have time and we'll schedule it. I can come back next month.
Yeah. Because I periodically you're going to have to come on and my guy down in Texas, George DeFuncavinci. What's up, bro? He does like a lot of my artwork and stuff. That brother right there is deep into the funk. But we do have fans that watch. They'll come on, they'll pop on and off or whatever. Go back and watch. But I got to hear these stories because I know you got millions, and we want to hear them all.
We all have stories, brother. We all have stories. We're artists.
We want to hear them all, bro. I'm going to give you the full screen for a minute, and then I'm going to come back and sign off. But I'm going to give you the full screen so you can just like talk to the people and kind of give them what you want to give them before we get out of here. All right, bro?
All right. Think about that real quick. Yeah. Well, I guess all I have to say is that it's a real pleasure being here to talk with Zach and be out here in front of all of you. I know what to say. Keep up the good fight. Keep making good trouble. There's a lot at stake. So if you're an artist out there, create your art, have something to say. And if you're concerned as a citizen, November, get out and vote, please. Vote, vote, vote. It's really important.
I think that kind of sums it up because, again, we're just scratching the surface with our special guest today, actor, activist, writer, director, Joe Peer from Seattle, taking the time to be with us, man. And for everybody out there, please follow this brother. He's an amazing human being, as you've seen on the show. We laugh and see. Now I got to have you on just to make me laugh.
Anytime, my friend. Anytime.
I need to laugh, bro.
Yeah.
You're so cool. You're mad cool, man. You're my brother now.
Thank you, brother.
Life, bro. For life, man. For life, man. Mr. Mark Lee, on behalf of him, I'm going to sign off. So listen, everybody have a safe, healthy, happy Saturday. And I'll see you guys next week. We're going to come back and, do it again. Funk from the front seat right here at 9 on the Grind TV, man. Y'all take it easy. Peace.
Penalty on the phone. 15 yards for faking the phone.
Man, why you throw the flag?
15 yards for faking the phone.
Say what? It's the funk. It's the funk. Chromacon, variants. It's the funk. Chromacon, variants.
Better switch your deadbeat back to the two-pump show and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the phone. You better switch your deadbeat back to the two-pump show and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the phone. There's a penalty if you don't shake that ass. We're gonna put you on blast, brother. And if you don't shake that ass, there's a penalty on the funk if you don't shake that rump. Causing the earth to shake, rattle, and roll to the sound of the nappy bump. There's a penalty. You know we gotta step on the gas. And if you can't get with this beat, I'm gonna put you on blast. And if you can't get with this beat, I'm gonna put you on blast. Yo, what's this fun Chromacon thing you talking about? I don't know, man. That's a whole other thing.
It's the funk. It's the funk.
Hey, everybody in the house say yeah.
It's the funk. Chromacon, variants. It's the funk. Chromacon, variants.
You better swing your deadbeat back to the two-pump jump and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the phone. You better swing your deadbeat back to the two-pump jump and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the phone. We're coming from the nappy land. Flag on the funk is not the plan. So let us play it loud for the new funk radio crowd. Stop throwing the flag on the funk and let me shake my rump. Squeeze me, tease me, and never let me go. I'm throwing the flag
That's a Nappy Funk Comedy Show. We ain't never gonna stop. 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 You better sweep your deadbeat back to the two-pump truck and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the funk. You better sweep your deadbeat back to the two-pump truck and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the funk. It's the Funk Chromacon variant. Yeah, man, we had a great time today hanging out. Don't forget, please subscribe, smash that like button, and y'all stay safe. Our guest today was Mr. Joe Peer, actor, activist, director, writer, brother, so righteous, man, and we're going to have him back again. We'll see you next week. I got a few surprises for you. I could be bringing on some of the Funk All-Stars, and we might get into how we did our little, our tour and how we did our little thing over there up in the mountains up in New York, but we'll see. We'll see what's happening. I'll see y'all next week. Peace. Keep it funky, y'all. You know how we roll. To honor my girl, Lisa Love, keep it funky, y'all. I see you, LL. Love you, sweetie.